Good morning. I am Brad Brown, Chair of the Stewardship and Finance Committee. For the past several years, this role has been adeptly filled by Chris Kopp, a member of our church, as well as a CPA working in corporate finance. So just to say that again, CPA, corporate finance. I, on the other hand, am a 74-year-old retired carpenter with a sociology degree. Another sensible Presbyterian transition. Well, I am here in Chris's place to deliver the annual in-person appeal on behalf of our stewardship campaign, a campaign whose theme this year is thankful for our abundant blessings. We are truly blessed and have much to be thankful for here at Leesburg Presbyterian. We are grateful for all that God has given us. Pastor Katie has arrived, for which we are so very grateful. Our transitional pastors ensured that the waiting was essentially a time of purposeful preparation for new beginnings. During this period of transition, church members made certain that worship services were meaningful and well-staffed, that fellowship gatherings were with good purpose, that our local neighbors and international friends in need were supported, that guests were graciously welcomed, that our children and adults were provided with supportive and educational ministry. Church members made certain that our members who were ailing or needed support received prayers and assistance, that this congregation served generously with their time and talents, that these historic buildings and grounds continued to be preserved and enhanced, that this year the session made a commitment to become an earth care congregation, and that there was much joyful noise made by our choir and musicians. We are also greatly indebted to and full of gratitude for the generations of families who came before us, serving and supporting this church with generosity. Psalm 100 is the scripture that we chose as our foundation to this stewardship season. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Psalm 100 is a call to unite in thankful praise. We are thankful for our abundant blessings, but also hopeful. Hopeful that going forward, our church will be afforded a strong financial foundation by this faith community. Pastor Scott, in his sermon 2 weeks ago, referenced an excerpt from Gospel of Matthew, citing Jesus' teaching, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Over the past 2 weeks, we have been preparing for Commitment Sunday with heartfelt testimonials from Bud Elliott and Stacy Markle, illustrating how Leesburg Presbyterian plays an important role in their lives and families. In other words, how Leesburg Presbyterian is where their treasure is and their hearts also. We all treasure this church. This is where our hearts are. And we all want it to thrive for generations to come. We know that the main purpose of my presentation today is to consider the importance of supporting our 2024 pledge appeal. Although this church is blessed to carry no outstanding debt, we have actually been doing so by drawing on reserves that are earmarked for emergencies and unanticipated major expenses. These reserves are not intended to cover general operating costs. Pledge commitments and donations overall have declined each year for several years. Lower revenue combined with prevailing inflationary demands have constrained our ability to expand our budget and support programs that are the core of this church community. Although session has streamlined the 2024 budget, we will expect that expenses will increase. In fact, in order to balance our projected 2024 budget, we would need to increase all giving by 12.5%. We feel that this is too much to ask for and an unrealistic level on which to plan the 2024 budget. An increase in our giving of 8%, or approximately $27,000, would close the anticipated deficit to approximately $15,000. Your gift with this 8% increase would help us plan effectively to serve the Lord with gladness. Next week, Commitment Sunday, we have the opportunity to respond to God's call by pledging our ongoing commitment to the life and the work of the church. This week, you should have received our stewardship mailing with a letter, a narrative budget, and a pledge card. There you will see our budget for this year with a breakdown of how the expenses are distributed. You may return the pledge card next week during the Commitment Sunday service, bringing it forward during worship with your regular offering. You may also return it by mail or pledge online at the church website. There is a QR code on the pledge card that will take you there directly. And for those of you who, like me, are over 72, I know it doesn't look like I'm over 72. But if you are over 72, you are eligible to use all or part of your RMD, which is the required minimum distribution from your IRA, as a donation to a qualified charity like LPC. And this will lower your taxable adjusted gross income while fulfilling your giving plans. If you have any questions or concern, please contact me later or any elder that is currently serving.